Emilia-Romagna is a region in northern Italy known for its culinary specialties and historic towns. The region is home to some of Italy's most famous foods such as Parma ham, Parmesan cheese and balsamic vinegar. In addition to food, Emilia-Romagna offers a wealth of attractions that draw visitors from all over the world. From the picturesque city of Bologna to the seaside town of Rimini, there are a variety of attractions in the region that will delight both culture buffs and nature lovers. The region is also rich in history and art, which helps to make Emilia-Romagna an unforgettable destination. In this video we will explore some of the main attractions in Emilia-Romagna, highlighting the peculiarities of each destination. If you like this video, please support our channel with a like, comment or subscription. Thank you. Bologna, the oldest university city in Italy and the center of the northern Italian region of Emilia-Romagna, lies picturesquely at the foot of the Apennines. Framed by the Cesena and Reno rivers, Bologna is situated right in the center of the Italian boot. Although the city does not have access to the sea, it inspires with art, culture and culinary delights. Honored as European Capital of Culture in 2000, Bologna boasts one of the best preserved historic centers in Europe. Founded by the Etruscans in the 6th century BC, Bologna was conquered by the Romans in 191 BC and quickly developed into a typical Roman city with a checkerboard layout. However, it acquired its current character only in the Middle Ages, when about 100 family towers and almost 40 kilometers of arcades dominated the cityscape. The arcades, originally built to provide living space for the rapidly growing population, today make it possible for passers-by to enjoy a dry city and shopping stroll through Bologna's old town even in wind and weather. Gourmets get their money's worth in the cultural city of Bologna. Friends of Italian specialties enjoy spaghetti bolognese or the sausage delicacy mortadella. The famous tortellini, green tagliatelle and lasagna alla bolognese also come from here. The province of Piacenza is located in the Emilia-Romagna region, in a position that has been strategically important in the Po Valley since ancient times. In the past, both the province and the capital of the same name, Piacenza, were often fiercely fought over. Although many medieval buildings were destroyed in the process, the city still has several imposing buildings from the 12th to 17th centuries. Once, Piacenza, which stretches picturesquely along the banks of the Po River, was an important crossroads for pilgrims, merchants, crusaders and Templars on their journey south. A perfect and safe passage, it is also surrounded on the other side by the Apennine chain. Numerous legends have their origins in Piacenza, and to this day the spirit of the past has remained alive in the city, so that a voyage of discovery through the town is filled with excitement and interesting stories. One of the most important buildings in Piacenza is the 16th century Farnese Palace. Few palaces in Italy are as magnificently designed as this one. It was once the home of Margherita of Austria, who had it built, and today it houses various museums. Among other things, the Pinacoteca in the basement houses Botticelli's famous Tondo. Families can leave their mark. In Ferrara, capital of the province of the same name in the upper Italian Po Valley, this becomes clear. The ruling Este family shaped the city with noble style and urban wisdom. Those who travel to Ferrara still encounter the elegance and pleasure of ancient courtly culture. From the 12th century and into the 16th century, the Este family, originally from the Frankish nobility, ruled Ferrara. The almost completely preserved city centre has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1995. Ferrara is an exquisite treasure trove of architecture and art from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance. The glittering landmark of Ferrara is the Castello Estense, the Romanesque castle of the Este family. The colorful and amazingly revealing ceiling frescoes in the castello were created in the 16th century. The town hall, connected to the castle by a covered walkway, and the cathedral, located in the same square, can be effortlessly included in the dazzling sightseeing tour. The city of Modena in Italy's Po Valley is a destination for top-notch culinary and automotive delights. Here, the legendary, casual Italian way of life is cultivated, which is also what gives Modena its laid-back atmosphere. In Modena, everything revolves around the Piazza Grande with the Cathedral of San Geminiano and its Tower Torre Ghirlandaia. The cathedral has dominated the city since 1099. Since 1997, the entire ensemble, including the Palazzo Comunale, has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Study places at the university, which has existed since 1175, are highly sought after. The city's students give it a highly lively atmosphere. In addition, hundreds of candidates for military posts pursue their studies in the Palazzo Ducale, the military academy. From 1450 onwards, the city saw a wide variety of rulers and princes building palaces. This is how Modena's architectural diversity came about. Strolling through the city, one sees a conspicuous number of car bodies of the noble brands Maserati, Lamborghini, and Ferrari. They are built around Modena. Maranello with the Ferrari production, the Formula One racing team and the museum around the legendary founder Enzo Ferrari is about 18 kilometers away. The car manufacturers use the roads of the Apennines for test drives. For gourmets, Parma is the home of the eponymous ham, the unique Parmesan cheese and a typical Italian gastronomy. But also for visitors interested in history, an extended visit to the beautiful city on the river Parma is worthwhile. As early as 200 years before the birth of Christ, the Romans settled in this beautiful spot of Italy in the southern Po Valley. Before them, the Etruscans appreciated the beautiful landscape and the gentle climate. Today, Parma can call itself the heart of the Italian food industry. Nevertheless, the flourishing economic center manages to retain its tranquil ambience. Those who take a leisurely stroll through the historic alleys of the old town will be enveloped in history and the most delicious aromas at the same time. Countless small restaurants proudly serve the world-famous and unique Parma ham. Along with Parmigiano Reggiano, which is produced only here and is just as unique, the delicacy is the talk of the world. But only in Parma itself can you enjoy these inimitable specialties in such an authentic way. The city of Ravenna, in the Emilia Romagna province of the same name, enchants with its unique architecture, wildly romantic surroundings and the beaches of the Adriatic Sea. Ravenna is a cultural stronghold and a dream destination for seaside vacationers at the same time. In its beginnings, the settlement of Ravenna was under Byzantine administration before it became the residence of Western Roman rulers. Buildings from these times have survived to the present day, including the mausoleum of Empress Galla Placidia and the 5th century Orthodox baptistry. Churches such as San Vitale and Sant'Apollinare and Ravenna Cathedral date from the 6th century. From the outside, the octagonal shapes are striking. Inside, the buildings delight with colorful mosaics depicting scenes from the life of the time. A total of 8 buildings belong to the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage. Modern is the town hall square Piazza del Popolo, the general meeting place with cafes and restaurants surrounded by magnificent architecture. Once, as today, a seaside resort on the Italian Adriatic with roots from a time beyond imagination. Between the historic squares and alleys of the city, modern life rages, delighting culture lovers and seaside vacationers alike. In 268 BC, Rimini was founded by colonists who were commissioned by the Roman Senate to secure this strategically important place. Rimini was framed by a Riminus, which today is called Morecchia, and another river, which today runs underground. The city was therefore attackable only from land. The Montanara city gate was built for defense. It was rebuilt from original bricks on today's Via Garibaldi and is one of many ancient structures in the city. Life in Rimini can be felt in the Roman Piazza Tre Martiri and the medieval Piazza Cavour, popular meeting places for locals and visitors. The 18th century fish market across from Palazzo dell'Arengo is the site of many small cafes and restaurants. Whether on the beaches or in the historic districts, everyone will find their personal favorite spot in Rimini. If you want to experience genuine Italian life, Cesena is the best place to do it. With its piazza, the central fountain from the Renaissance, the narrow streets and the terracotta roofs, Cesena seems to have sprung from a glossy magazine for Italian travel. Yet the town south of Ravenna in Emilia Romagna is anything but a tourist stronghold. On the contrary, in the small town on the Sovio River, you're unlikely to come across any guided tour groups. It is actually surprising that the town is hardly mentioned in any travel guide, since Cesena is home to the oldest library in Europe that is open to the public. The Biblioteca Malatestiana was donated in the 15th century by the Malatesta family, who also had their castle built in Cesena. As the most influential family in the region, the Malatesta furnished the library according to the most modern criteria of their time. Walking into the reading room today, one enters a world long gone. Old wooden desks stand to the left and right. The borrowed books are chained and read here. One imagines how monks once read ancient manuscripts and newly produced writings here, without light, without heating. The Malatestina family has unmistakably left its mark on Cesena. This becomes particularly clear when visiting the Rocca Malatestiana, the seat of the family. The castle is somewhat elevated above the city, surrounded by cypresses and pine trees. Already the famous Dante found great words for the small village of San Leo near the dwarf state of San Marino in his Divine Comedy. The municipality in the Emilia-Romagna region has often served as a film set thanks to its extraordinary attractiveness. San Leo was not only chosen as one of the most beautiful villages in the country, but was also awarded a seal of quality by the Italian Touring Club. It is no wonder that the little town on the bizarre rock formation is a real magnet for visitors. The buildings of San Leo are extremely remarkable both artistically and architecturally. The town on the imposing rock overlooks the vast Morecchia Valley and is the center of an area of great historical importance. In the past, powerful battles and great events took place here. It is probably little known that San Leo was the capital of the country for 2 years starting in 962. If you are on the Adriatic coast or in Rimini, 30 kilometers away, you should definitely pay a visit to San Leo. In the picturesque old town you can still feel the charm of times long past. Called Culla dei Malatesta, nursery of the noble family Malatesta, the fortress of this noble family dominates the entire area high above the actual village. However, the history of the village is much older, and excavations have shown that a very advanced civilization lived here, called Civiltà Villanoviana. It is very likely that the Etruscans were the first to settle in this area a few hundred years before the birth of Christ, and that they mastered a craft that cannot be compared to any of the surrounding provinces of Emilia-Romagna. Among the findings of the many excavations there are woodworks, ceramics, bronze works, jewelry in gold and amber, weapons and utensils of everyday life made with a particular refinement. Many of these archaeological finds can be seen in the Archaeological Museum of Verucchio. Among the sites of Verucchio is the best preserved castle of the noble family Malatesta, built there in the 11th century. Among the treasures of the Val d'Arda, Castell'Arquato, about 30 kilometers southeast of Piacenza, stands out for its beautiful old town. This is dominated by Palazzo Pretorio and the 14th century fortress. The Castell'Arquato is perched on a hill high above the Val d'Arda. Due to its strategic position, the town has always been hotly contested. From 772 the small town belonged to the possession of the prince-bishops of Piacenza. An interlude of municipal independence was followed by the rule of foreign families such as the Visconti, Sforza, and Farnese. During this period the Castell'Arquato was developed into a fortified town. The former water castle, the Rocca Viscontia, built on the orders of Lucchino Visconti in 1342, dominates the image of the town. Today, the wooden drawbridge leads to the interior of the castle, which served exclusively military purposes. In the immediate vicinity stands the Church of Santa Maria Assunta, built in the 11th century. The large city of Forli combines a long history with excellent shopping opportunities and historical buildings worth seeing. A vacation in the Romagna region will be a relaxing and unforgettable experience for the whole family. Culturally interested, recreational vacationers as well as nature lovers and hikers can expect numerous exciting excursion destinations in the city and the surrounding area. The most exciting attraction for vacationers in Forli is the impressive old town, which has countless sites with impressive architecture. Especially at the picturesque Piazza Aurelio Saffi, the city presents itself from its most beautiful side. The most impressive building here is the Basilica di San Mercurial from the 12th century, inside of which guests can admire many unique works of art. Travelers should also have seen the Rocca di Ravaldino fortress, which was built in the 15th century and is still very well preserved today. Last but not least, visitors to Forli will come across magnificent palazzi such as the Palazzo del Podesta, which characterize the atmosphere of the city. With the Museo San Domenico, the Museo Archeologico and the Ceramics Museum, Forli offers vacationers some cultural attractions. Here guests can view precious paintings and many other works of art, and learn about the history of the region in Roman times and in the Middle Ages. Comacchio, with about 23,000 inhabitants, is a cozy little town that was a real lagoon town before the area was drained. Even today, one can guess what it must have been like when the town was connected to the mainland only by bridges. Today, canals still run through Comacchio, and at times you get a sense of Venetian beauty in the alleys and on the bridges of the town. Comacchio is located in the Po Delta and is considered one of the most important cities in the region. Historically, an important military, trade and pilgrimage route once ran along here, leading from Venice via Chioggia past Comacchio and then on to Rome. Today Comacchio is a real tourist stronghold. Comacchio has 7 beach resorts to offer. What unites all the beaches of the Comacchio municipality is their respective charm, but also their extreme closeness to nature and naturalness, which can be experienced here. The inhabitants are particularly proud of their well-preserved old town. And they have every reason to be. The beautiful little town is in part strongly reminiscent of Venice, especially when you look at the old palaces, the beautiful bridges and the various canals. A piece of Venetian flair here in the middle of Romagna. From afar, The landmarks of the picturesque village of Brisighella can be seen rising from the hilly landscape: the pilgrimage church Santuario della Beata Vergine del Monticino, the medieval castle Rocca Manfrediana di Brisighella, and the Torre dell'Orologio tower high above the small village on 3 imposing chalk cliffs. Especially from the Torre dell'Orologio, a large clock tower, there is a wonderful view of the wildly romantic surrounding countryside on the eastern foothills of the Apennines. Situated in the shadow of Bologna, Brisighella has so far been spared the big tourist crowds. Even in the high season, only a few people stroll through the steep maze of alleys in this town of 8,000 souls. Those who stroll through the narrow streets discover old churches, colorful palazzi and cobbled squares with small eateries and cafes. San Marino is about 60 square kilometers in size and is nestled in the hills of the Apennines. It is worth visiting the small state on Monte Titano and its capital San Marino, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The state of San Marino is formed by 9 municipalities crossed by 4 rivers. Just over 30,000 people live in the Republic, which lies 700 meters above sea level. In the 19th century, freedom movements occurred in all parts of Italy with the aim of establishing a unified kingdom of Italy. Proud San Marino resisted and remained free. In bright colors, the buildings of the city shine out from the green of Monte Titano. The cityscape of San Marino is characterized by 3 mighty castles, also called the Three Towers, which can be visited. Especially from Piazza della Libertà, you have a fantastic panoramic view of the rugged landscapes of the Apennines. The narrow streets between the churches and the walls of the Santa Chiara Monastery are home to quaint cafes and restaurants. The small medieval village of Dozza is located about 40 kilometers southeast of Bologna. It is a member of the Association of the Most Beautiful Villages in Italy. The tranquil village is nestled between fields and a lovely hilly landscape. From far away you can already see the striking castle, the Rocca Sforzesca di Dozza. It is perched on a small hill. A visit to the castle, which has its origins in the middle of the 13th century, is worthwhile. Many of the rooms are very well preserved. The kitchen even seems as if it was abandoned only yesterday. In fact, the castle was still inhabited until 1960. In the meantime, the castle belongs to the municipality of Dozza. From the high tower there is a wonderful view of Dozza and the surrounding countryside. After a tour of the castle, take a lot of time for an extended walk through the medieval village with its cobbled streets and striking archways. The Hall of Dozza is a magnificent open-air museum. Even if you could actually cross the village center in a few minutes, you always like to stop, discover and marvel and enjoy the unique works of art. There are now about 200 works of art of very different styles that enrich the village. In Val Trebbia, in the province of Piacenza, in Emilia Romagna, you should definitely visit the village of Bobbio, about 50 kilometers southwest of the capital Piacenza. It is a village built in the Middle Ages around the Abbey San Columbano, famous for the impressive Ponte Gobbo. The bridge was built in the 7th century by monks of the monastery of San Columbano on the foundations of a previous Roman bridge. On it you cross the Trebbia River and get beautiful scenic views. Many floods over the years caused severe damage to the bridge. Many renovations and repairs were therefore necessary. Originally built with 1 large main arch and 3 other small arches, the bridge had to be extended to a total of 11 arches in the 17th century due to severe erosion on the riverbed. The bridge deck follows the elevation of the different arches, giving the bridge its sweeping appearance. The Po Delta is the largest wetland in Italy, and one of the largest in Europe. It includes the arms of the river that carry the Po to its mouth in the Adriatic Sea. The delta area, which covers more than 700 square kilometers, extends over 2 Italian regions, 3 provinces and 16 municipalities. Divided into the 2 regional parks of Veneto and Emilia Romagna, the Po Delta Park is one of Europe's most important areas of high ecological and landscape interest, comparable to areas such as the Camargue in France. After a stretch of about 652 kilometers, from Monteviso on the Italian-French border to the sea, the Po finishes its course and flows into the upper Adriatic Sea. The landscape of the Po Delta is today considered the longest undeveloped sandy coast in Italy and is the result of centuries of steady sediment deposition in the area of the river mouth. The particular location, climatic characteristics and human efforts have favored the preservation and growth of natural resources and biodiversity. The forests, brackish water lagoons and salt marshes, sandbanks and impressive fossil dunes have made the Po Delta a true earthly paradise for those who like to be in touch with nature.